Brother and lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, we do have a lot to dive into this afternoon. An injury crisis at Arsenal. It is absolutely scary. It's absolutely appalling that we have 9 players now unlikely to face Spurs in the North London Derby on the 1st of October. We're going to be diving into every player and the status and how long we expect them to be out and when we expect them to be back. Thomas Partey is back at the Emirates Stadium. His injury does not look good. Tomiyasu as well was called back at the Emirates Stadium as well. It could be an injury with Tomiyasu. And if Tomiyasu is injured and you have the likes of Odegaard injured as well, it doesn't really look very good. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well. The question for me for you in the comment section, talk to me. What should we do with this injury crisis? Is it the games? What is the problem? Is it the number of games? Is it just Arsenal don't have a big squad, just like Manchester City and the likes of probably Man United? Because for us, injuries are really catching up with us very, very fast. Now, let's get this video to 300 likes as well. That will be massively appreciated. So let's start off with Thomas Partey. It was confirmed when Ghana played Brazil. Partey was in the starting lineup, but he actually dropped out during warm-up. Now, according to a couple of journalists, including Charles Watts and Junior Ado George in Ghana, told us that Partey was alright and it was just a precautionary move. However, the Ghana Association did confirm that he's not going to be playing with them in their second friendly game against Nicaragua on Tuesday. Arsenal have been in constant contact with the Ghana Association and their medical team, and they've decided Partey should return to the Emirates Stadium. Now, this is my opinion. This is my little opinion. I don't think Thomas Partey would have been fit and not play for Ghana against Brazil. Such a very important game. For me, I don't think that was going to happen. And again, if he was fit, if it was just a precautionary move, then he would have played against Nicaragua. He would have played in their second friendly. The fact that Thomas Partey didn't play against Brazil, the fact that Thomas Partey has withdrawn early from the Ghanaian squad, it is bad news for us. No, it is, for me, it is not actually looking good. I looked at a couple of stories, especially that one written by goal.com from Charles Watts, and his opinion is Partey will be fine. He will be playing in the North London Derby. I pray he plays in there, but the problem is his knee. He has always had that recurring injury in the knee area. I thought Arsenal brought this on ourselves. We had to deal with that in January. He was injured in January. We had to bring in either Douglas Lewis, either anyone to cover in that position. We failed. So Thomas Partey, if he's injured, it's more than likely that we'll miss 2 weeks of football. That means he doesn't play against Tottenham Hotspur and he doesn't play against Liverpool. Now, I understand, and many of you in the comment section are going to tell me, Kossi, it was a precautionary move. But think about it. If it is precautionary, why is he returning early? Why is he returning ahead of schedule? Why is he missing the Nicaragua game first and foremost? Anyway, we wait and see what the scans are actually going to be telling us. He's going to undergo a couple of scans at the Arsenal Medical Center, and we'll know much about that. But of course, Thomas Partey, it is not looking very good. Of course, the likes of Mohamed Elneny, who are the immediate backup, there is no hope from Mohamed Elneny this year. So that is number one. Thomas Partey injured, and he has returned to Arsenal. He has returned to London for further tests, for further scans, and to see whether he will be available for Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool as well. The next one is on Martin Odegaard. Now, Martin Odegaard played against Slovenia yesterday. They lost 2-1. Norway lost 2-1. Martin Odegaard, of course, didn't impress me in that game at all. And I think with players like Martin Odegaard, Thomas Partey, and a couple of other very talented players, is what they have when they are injured, when they're not 100% fit, you'll definitely know. You will definitely see it. You'll definitely feel it, that this guy is not 100% on his levels. So I looked at Martin Odegaard yesterday, was playing alongside the likes of Sunderberg, and for me, he was zero impressive. There was zero impressions from Martin Odegaard in that Norway game. I'm not trying to bash him here, lads. He's my captain. I love him so much. I really rate him up there. But you could see he's trying to be very, very careful with himself. He's being very, very cautious. He's not entering those battles that he usually does in the Premier League. And for me, look, he was withdrawn in that game, kind of a precautionary move. So I expect him to play again with Norway, probably this coming week. He will be playing with them in their last game of the UEFA Nations League. But Odegaard is playing with an injury. And the problem is Arsenal have already released a statement, and they said he will be available for Spurs if he doesn't do further damage, right? Further damage during his spell with during his stay with the national team. The problem with that is this: we are taking a risk, we are taking a very, very big gamble, and you cannot blame Norway because Norway depend on Martin Odegaard. Literally, Martin Odegaard and Erling Haaland, the likes of Sunderberg, they don't have so many stars, so the few stars they have, definitely they've got to utilize them. So if they're going to stand any chances of winning their last game in that group, they definitely 100% have to play Martin Odegaard in that game. And that is where the problem is, lads. That is where the scare is. He's not fully fit. That is number one. He's not fully fit. And then he has to play a game in midweek and then play a game on Saturday as well, and early kickoff against Spurs. Completely hilarious, this fixture. So Martin Odegaard, he's not injured according to the Norwegian manager. Every scan that he had to go through, he underwent it, and he was past fit to play in that game. But the thing about this is this, guys. Players need time to, get over injuries, and that is what this kind of schedule doesn't give players. You need time to heal. You need time to come back to your levels. You need time to get the knocks off, and it doesn't really happen. It doesn't really happen with this kind of fixtures. It doesn't happen with this kind of with this kind of schedule. So Martin Odegaard, highly unlikely for me to miss against Tottenham Hotspur. But if he does further damage in their last game of the UEFA Nations League, I think that will be either Tuesday or Wednesday, then it is highly likely that he doesn't play for us against Tottenham Hotspur. Number 3 is, of course, Alexander Zinchenko. There is some, huge push with Alexander Zinchenko. He has not played any game for Ukraine. How many have they played so far? They played against Scotland, I think, and yesterday, they played as well. So they played 2 games so far. That is Ukraine. And so far, so good for them. So Alexander Zinchenko, of course, didn't travel with the team, didn't join up with the team, has a calf injury, had to spend 2 weeks on the sidelines. Now, the 2 weeks expire on 30th of this month. So we are still waiting to see, will Alexander Zinchenko come back against Spurs? Will he not? But I think for him, the advantage, he's not played any football in these 2 weeks, in that fortnight, so he will be available. Chances are he will be available. So talking about the injury crisis, literally it means Alexander Zinchenko is safe. Hit the like button for me if you're still watching by now. Now, the other scare with Alexander Zinchenko is that if he doesn't make it fit for the game against Spurs, Tierney should be the guy that plays in that position. Tierney was withdrawn in the Scotland game yesterday from, I think Scotland, eventually, came up to win 2-1. They were playing Ireland, and Tierney played very, very well, but then he was withdrawn in that game with a head injury. Now, according to some of the sources I've looked at, Tierney should be fit for their last game. I think for any other games they have, Scotland, and should be fit to come back at Arsenal and play in the North London derby. The problem here lies with Tierney. He's played so many games. He's going to play 3 games in a space of, actually 4 games in a space of 2 weeks. He's actually playing more games than any other player, than any other Arsenal player out on international duty. So had a head injury. Sources claim he's fine. Let's wait and see what happens with Tierney, but sources are claiming he's absolutely fine. Come on, you cannot have Alexander Zinchenko injured and then Tierney injured. 2 of your left backs, 2 of the world's best fullbacks cannot be injured. That is some kind of bad luck or anything like that, honestly. So Kieran Tierney is expected to be around, has suffered that head injury, but probably, and we pray it is not something that can keep him out for a week or two. Now, Takehiro Tomiyasu is another player we need to talk about here. Arsenal have called Takehiro Tomiyasu back in London at the Emirates Stadium. Now, according to the sources I've looked at, Takehiro Tomiyasu will not play in the last game for Japan, their last friendly, and it is totally club issues. Now, whether that is to deal with a few documents or paperwork or fitness issues, I'm not really sure. But the fact that Arsenal have called him back also indicates, because a few sources are saying that Takehiro Tomiyasu could have suffered a knock in the last game they played against USA. There is a big problem, right? There are players you want to pick up injuries. There are players you don't want to pick up injuries. You don't want Takehiro Tomiyasu to pick up an injury. One of the best versatile players in that squad, right back, center back, left back, midfield, right wing. You can play him almost anywhere on that pitch. He might not do very well in every position, but he will fulfill the obligations. He will fulfill the demand. So Takehiro Tomiyasu is back at the Emirates Stadium. If he doesn't have an injury, if it's just a slight knock, we are absolutely happy, because look, he doesn't get to play the rest of those bullshit friendlies that countries are having, and then he gets an extra week of rest before we get into the Tottenham game. Actually, in my opinion, Takehiro Tomiyasu should be playing in that game, not Ben White. I think he's got, he has better ways of dealing with players like Hurricane, with players like, Huminson. And if you couple him with William Saliba, Son, Kulusevski, and Ken, they might be a threat neutralized. I mean, I'm just suggesting. So, Takehiro Tomiyasu back at the Emirates Stadium, but I think further tests will be taken and scans will also be undertaken as well. Emile Smith-Rowe has pain in the groin. He was expected to be back by the Tottenham Hotspur game. I thought it was going to be longer than that, but it's just a groin injury, a groin pain in the groin. And sources are suggesting he might be back for either the Leeds United game or the Liverpool game. I think Mikel Arteta is very, very cautious about Emile Smith-Rowe. We know the talent he possesses, and you don't want to rush him. You don't want to ruin his career. It is 7 games in. Yes, he is under pressure, and I know he wants to come back as quickly as possible to challenge the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and get back his spot in the team. But honestly, Emile Smith-Rowe should not be rushed. So Emile Smith-Rowe, another extra 4 weeks for me on the sidelines. It just affects our squad depth. It just affects the quality on our bench. Because if you have Emile Smith-Rowe on the bench, Nketiah on the bench, Tomiyasu on the bench, Rob Holding on the bench, Matana on the bench, it just creates a better aura around your bench. But for now, it really doesn't. Reiss Nelson, the good news is Reiss Nelson is set to be back for the Tottenham Hotspur game. Yeah, you had me right. Reiss Nelson is set to be back for the Tottenham Hotspur game. Mikel Arteta has already told him he's going to stay. He's going to give him a lot of game time should he actually work for it and deserve it. So Reiss Nelson, not a very, very huge advantage in terms of Arsenal compared to Spurs, but what you're talking about here is squad depth. What you're talking about here is if in case Gabriel Martinelli picks up a knock, because we know he's capable of those. In case Saka just picks up a knock, we know he's human after all. He can pick up a knock. So Reiss Nelson just provides that kind of cover, especially at a time when we do not have any other player to cover for. Martinelli and Saka. So instead of shifting Gabriel Jesus to the flanks, Reiss Nelson comes onto the pitch just to provide that kind of support for Martinelli and Saka as well. Cedric Soares is also set to be back for the Tottenham Hotspur game as per Goal.com and Charles Watch. That is a huge positive. Now, I've talked about positives in this video, but there is what we call a positive, and that is a positive. Cedric Soares plays as a left back, plays as a right back as well. Very, very versatile. If you talk about the natural right backs, wait, do we have one natural right back in this team that is Cedric Soares? I need to check. I need to cross-check again. We do. we have one natural right back at Arsenal, and that is Cedric Soares. I'm not trying to say he should start ahead of Ben White and Tomiyasu, but honestly, if you think about it, Cedric is naturally right back. Tomiyasu is a hybrid of a right back and a centre back who loves playing on the right hand side of a back three, and Ben White is a right-footed centre back who actually is more comfortable in playing in a back four. So Cedric is back anyway. I just love his versatility. I don't like him as a player. I don't really like him that much, and I don't rate him on the other side. But I like his versatility. Can give you that kind of genius probably on the left hand side of the pitch. Can also give you that assurance on the right hand side of the pitch as well. So Cedric Soares and Reece Nelson are set to be back for the Tottenham Hotspur game. That is a huge boost. Now Mohamed Elneny is the last one we need to talk about here. Now Mohamed is facing problems because again you have him thinking about January, you have thinking about February. It is going to be very tricky to see and interesting as well to see whether he can make a quick recovery just like Granit Xhaka did last campaign. Because Xhaka did suffer a projected long-term injury, but he worked very hard. I think he was expected to be out for 3 months, but then he was just out for a month, wasn't it? Just a month. And you can see how Mikel Arteta actually trusts him. So Mohamed Elneny until February, we don't need to talk about this one. I think it's one that just prompts us to go out in January and utilize that market, utilize the opportunities you have. I've seen a few stories, making rounds again. We are looking at a couple of players from Croatia, from Denmark. I'm gonna be telling you all those stories in the next one. But for now, Mohamed Elneny is not anywhere close to coming back. Hit the like button for us. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Kosi Arsenal, Instagram, Kosi_19, and TikTok, 90 more, and Kosi Talks Football. Make sure you're following all those pages. I'm going to be linking them up on my community and in my description. Have a chat with me on WhatsApp. I'll see you very, very soon.